Hi guys, in this video I'm going to be reacting to ZackTTG's video titled Why I'm Leaving Too Hype, Response to Mopi in TD. So let's begin.
Alright y'all, in this video I'm going to address the situation going on right now between me and my group Too Hype and Tyler aka Mopi. There's already been like a lot of back and forth, he said, she said, but that's not my objective here. I'm not going to attack anyone or try to put anyone down, and I'm not going to make up any lame excuses for what I've done.
So first of all, you notice his body language. He's shaking, he's sort of got high energy, which shows that he's eager to get this off his chest, he's eager to make this video, which indicates that he may care about it. He could be faking it, but if you didn't care about something, if you weren't keen to clear your name, you wouldn't be shaking with apprehension that he is right now. So he's doing that. He's kind of trying to basically relieve the stress that's put on his body by doing the shaking. I mean, that's what we do when we're nervous. We fidget, we shake our legs, we do pacifying behaviors to try and calm our body down. His version of that is shaking, so it shows that he's got a lot of energy, but he's maintaining eye contact with the camera, which is also pretty interesting. But we need to form a baseline before we can make any judgments. And for those of you that don't know, a baseline is someone's normal behavior. So you look at their normal behavior, you form a baseline, and then when they're presented with a stressor, which is a difficult question or something like that, or an accusation, you then read the deviation from their baseline in their body language. So let's continue.
I'm gonna have receipts on screen, and I also reference Jesse's video throughout mine a couple times, so make sure you guys go watch that if you haven't yet. Some of the things I'm going to talk about, there's no way to have a receipt, like there's no tangible evidence, and there's going to be times where it's just my interpretation of a situation. I'm just here to refute the lies that he says in his video and give context to the half-truths, tell my side of things, but also take accountability and apologize for.
So when he says tell my side of things, he leans backwards, which shows that he kind of feels threatened by the situation. When we're presented with a stressor, i.e. these allegations made against him, you tend to feel threatened by them, and a sign of feeling threatened is distancing. So he's trying to lean back, he's trying to get out of the situation. However, on the opposite, if he's interested, he'll lean in. So he's not doing that, he's leaning out, but he's also buzzing with sort of energy, he's nervous about it. He's doing a lot of hand gestures as well, a lot of open gestures, so he's keen to address it, but it does show that he feels quite threatened by these allegations as well, based on the fact that he's leaning back and he's trying to distance himself from the allegations.
I'll be addressing the TD video too and talk about the situation with him and Los, but that'll come later in the video. So if you're just here for the Tyler situation, you don't have to sit through the whole thing, but I do encourage you to watch this video all the way through, as it does all tie in together. So I'm going to jump into this, start with Tyler's video. I'm not going to address every detail because a lot of it has to do with the other guys, and honestly what he says about me directly is mostly circumstantial. I'm going to show clips from his video and then talk about them, and I will say some of them will be excerpts or cut down, but that's not an attempt to manipulate them. That's just me being compendious, and if you've already watched his video, you'll know the context. And I'll be cutting out the dead spaces when I talk or start to ramble, just to keep this video as concise as I can. So first up, we have the cease and desist that he shows here in the beginning.
They sent me a cease and desist letter, so I do need to be careful with what I'm saying because they're threatening to sue me. I've literally only said L-hype, and I'll be making a video, and they're already sending me a cease and desist letter. Like, what does that tell you? Like,
so he starts out here with a half-truth, and for somebody that wants to accuse us of manipulation, you literally manipulated this situation right here to try to make us look bad. Like Jesse already said in his video, you and your dad threatened us with legal action.
So notice his eyes, he's squinting this whole time. Before this, his baseline showed that his eyes were open, and now he's actually squinting, which kind of reveals aggression. He's quite aggressive in this situation. He may be calm and collected in this video, and I'm sure he has a script of things that he needs to say, but his eyes give it all away. He's squinting his eyes. It shows that he's almost condescending. He's in strong disagreement, but there's also a bit of anger in there. And that's perfectly understandable. You'd be angry if you were accused of such things.
A month before this was sent, causing us to get a lawyer to protect ourselves. And a cease and desist is not a lawsuit. We did not file a lawsuit against you. It's merely a warning not to disparage us or Too Hype.
He keeps leaning in when he's saying these things, which shows that, well, it indicates that he's telling the truth, because if you're telling a lie, you tend to try and get out of the situation because you're uncomfortable. You don't want to lie, but you're lying, and you know that there's a risk of you being caught out. You try and distance yourself, you look away. You show all the signs that you're trying to distance yourself. But when he's saying this, actually, although he's a bit jittery in his movements, he does lean in quite a lot, which shows that he kind of wants to address it, but also that he doesn't feel as threatened by it. So it kind of indicates truthfulness, but we'll have to watch more.
The only way to have a case for defamation is if the statements made are in fact false. So we were basically saying, hey, we saw the insult you tweeted. We saw you were making a video. Don't lie about us online or in that video, which you proceeded to do anyway, but that's besides the point.
Moving on to Zach, he's just one of the fakest people I know, like so manipulative. They make you like hate who they hate, and you only hear their side. And then once you get out, you can hear the other side and be mind blown at how shit actually is, because you only hear their manipulative fake side.
This statement's pretty ironic within itself, because that's literally what you're doing with this video, trying to get people to hate us without knowing both sides of the story. And I never once told you or anyone else in the group not to talk to anyone or not to associate with anyone. You can talk to whoever you want to.
He's doing a bit of rapid blinking there, which shows that he's under a lot of stress. I don't know if that's if he's lying or not, or if he's telling the truth, but he's clearly under a lot of stress. But then the rest of his body language is saying that he's quite confident. He's maintaining a lot of eye contact as well with the camera, which is a good sign of truthfulness. And he keeps leaning in when he's saying the points, which you wouldn't really do if you're feeling threatened. But as I've said in my other videos, he's doing this in front of a camera, not a person. So these cues will be toned down quite a lot. When we're with a person, we actually have the risk of them punching you in the face if you say something wrong. Whereas if you're in front of a camera, the body language is going to be less exaggerated. It's still going to be there, but it's going to be much more difficult to detect.
My concern. And it's funny how you attack Chris and call him manipulative for telling you to unfollow people he doesn't fuck with anymore, when you did the same exact thing to his girlfriend and other girlfriends in the house when you asked them to unfollow your ex when y'all split up. Chris's girlfriend didn't listen to you, so you sent her a long message, immediately screenshotted it and sent it to Chris and tried to convince him that he needed to force her to unfollow your ex because it was disrespectful to you. You did have a much nicer approach than Chris, but the sentiment is the same. And I'm not trying to undermine your feelings here on the situation. I'm just pointing out the hypocrisy.
Like earlier this year, I received terrible jokes from Chris and Zach. Like terrible. Like I can't even talk about them. And caused so much pain. Like, and I was already in such a bad place this year. And it's on me that I didn't tell them to stop. The only time the joke stopped after a period of time, when I said I was taking a mental break and not being a part of videos. Then they immediately stopped. That's what it takes for them to stop, I guess.
Now, the jokes that he's talking about were never made. And no, it wasn't anything anti-Semitic like I've had people accusing me of now, because...
Notice his face sort of tenses up when he says that. That's a sign of disgust. So being accused of being anti-Semitic, he's disgusted at the idea. That's why he clenches up his face. It could also be taken as a sign of aggression, but I think in this case it is to be taken as he's disgusted by these allegations being put towards him, and it shows that he doesn't believe that they're truthful.
And what he said just there. And I can't get into detail about what he's accusing me of without telling his personal business, which I will not do. He says I made them earlier in the year and they miraculously...
Micro expression there, he sort of twitches his nose to the left. I don't know how he does it, but you notice his nose twitches and his mouth twitches slightly. It's an interesting tell, actually, because a micro expression is basically an expression that you can't fake. It's something that your subconscious mind does. And it's only for a very micro amount of time, hence the term micro expression. So, yeah, it's quite interesting. I'm not exactly sure what that micro expression indicated, to be honest. It's kind of a difficult one. It could be taken as a pacifying behavior. He's stressed, and he does that as a subconscious way of relieving stress. That could be it, but it's not one of the mainstream tells, you know, a micro expression, the twitch of the mouth and the nose. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what that actually means.
When he told us he was taking his first week-long break, which was June 14th during the weekly meeting that we have every Sunday as a group. But I didn't hear about these jokes until December 13th when I went to talk to him in person after he told Jesse that I made these jokes. And
again, he keeps leaning in when he's saying these things, which shows that he's actually quite comfortable with them. He's confident. He doesn't feel threatened by them, which means, well, it suggests, doesn't mean, but it suggests that he thinks that he's telling the truth there. Because if you were accused of something, quite a severe accusation being anti-Semitic, and you lean in, that's a sign that you are telling the truth. Because why would you put yourself at risk? Why would you lean into the threat, the stressor? You'd lean back, you'd show distancing behaviors. And he does it consistently and kind of not as fluid as you'd expect. Well, yeah, if he was lying, you'd expect his body language to be controlled, precise, Whereas this is just all over the place. And as I say in all my videos, that's a great sign. If someone's body language is methodical and looks planned, that's a very strong sign that they're trying to make you believe what they want because they're trying to fake their body language. And it's easy to spot, it really is. But if they're all over the place, their voice goes up, down, their eyes are going crazy, their body's moving, they're doing a lot of weird movements and stuff, which he is doing this whole video, that's a good sign because it shows that he's thinking off the top of his head, not inside his head where he's got a plan. So yeah, it's interesting.
And this isn't something that can be proved or disproved with evidence as it was supposedly in person. But bro, I just wish you would have come to me back when you thought I said it instead of waiting.
Shows he's stressed. He puts his lip to his tongue to his lip there, like that. That's a pacifying behavior. He's stressed. He's doing that to basically calm himself down, which shows that he does take this to heart. He is quite offended by these allegations made against him. It could be that his mouth's getting dry. I mean, you know, recording videos for a long period of time and speaking. I mean, he does it for 40 minutes. That's a lot of time to speak, but we are only at the start of the video, so I don't think it's a dry mouth. I think it is a pacifying behavior.
With me the whole time. Like, we could have squashed it way back then.
Including making me seem mentally unstable, which Jesse, Chris, and Zach have already participated in. Like, Zach was retweeting like mental illness stuff, and it's just like, it's such a joke.
Another lie here. I don't joke about mental illness as it's something I deal with myself, and I never once tried to make you...
Notice there when he says it's something he deals with himself, he does a head nod. Now, there's two types of head nods. There's the sort of micro expression head nod, which is unintentional. You do the head nod. And then there's sort of a planned head nod, which basically indicates that you want the person to believe you. It's not a sign of malicious intent or anything like that. It's simply that you're trying to convey to them that you want them to believe you, basically. So I don't know which one it was. It was short, but it wasn't short enough to be a micro expression. But it shows that he's definitive in what he's saying. He's strong. He backs up his words, basically.
Stable online. And the retweet that he's talking about is this one here that was tweeted on December 12th, the same day that we won the Streamy Award. I first retweeted this tweet here from our 2Hype account as soon as it was posted and was scrolling through Twitter, looking at people celebrating with us, saw her tweet, the shit resonated with me. I figured there were other people out there that follow me that might need to hear it, so I just retweeted it. And Tyler, you didn't even tweet until over an hour after all this happened. It had nothing to do with you, bro.
And I'll never forgive Chris and Zach for turning Jesser into the person he is. Like, he's lived with them for too long, and like, I feel pain in myself as a friend that I couldn't do more for him and help him out. But between Chris, Zach, and James, like, there's nothing I could do, really. I mean, I probably could have done more, but I just have to accept it and move on and just know I can't do anything now.
First of all, bro, Jesse's only lived with me a year longer than you have, and that was in the old 2K house. And at that time, I was still doing electrical engineering, so I was barely ever home. I'm proud of the man Jesse's become. He's done nothing but mature and succeed since the day I met him. And when he bought his house and moved out, he literally told you that you could live with him when our lease ended in Calabasas. It's like you expect this dude...
Keeps leaning in, all signs of sincerity. His head movements, he does do kind of a lot of rapid head movement there, going left to right, but I think that's his baseline. He maintains eye contact, strong eye contact, normal amount, not excessive, not under what you'd expect. So yeah, signs of all being normal. Nothing out of the ordinary here, really. Which is interesting because obviously the drama, everyone's contradicting each other. So know this as well. I say this in every video, so sorry for hearing it again. That just because their body language is telling the truth doesn't mean they're actually telling the truth. Basically what that means is they could believe it and their body language would show that, but it may not actually be true. So long as these people have different views, but they believe those different views, their body language is going to say the same thing. They're going to be telling the truth. Then who's telling the truth if they're both telling the truth, but they hold different views? That's all body language can do. It won't tell you who's right or wrong. It'll tell you who's being honest or not. And it's up to you to then decide what you think because of that.
With you all the time, like when you guys were kids, but at some point, bro, people grow up. He's running multiple businesses, he's grinding, and it's unfair that you take that as him not caring about you anymore. You just want to blame everyone else around you for how you're feeling instead of looking in the mirror and figuring out what you need to do.
Knowing how they talk to like editors and people that are helping them out, and like it's just, it needs to stop.
I've never talked bad to an editor or anybody else that's ever helped me with a video in any way. And the only editor we've ever had a problem with is this dude here, who's literally a disgruntled ex-employee that used to work for Jesse, but he was constantly late with videos. He was using that his PC specs weren't good enough as an excuse. So Jesse went out and spent thousands of dollars to buy him a brand new PC, never asked him to repay it, but he was still late with videos even after that. So he replaced him. Then we hired him for the 2Hype channel when we first started it in the summer of 2019. And he wasn't performing there, still repeatedly late, getting us like first drafts of the videos and full videos. So he got replaced again. And it's also worth mentioning that this dude inquired about working for Jesse's second channel again when he was looking for editors this past summer. That makes no sense. If we were such shitty people, he wouldn't want to deal with us again.
I've been numbing myself and hurting myself for a while. And yeah, I've been abusing the sauce, the devil's lettuce. I'm not saying the word for demonetization or whatever, but yeah, I've been abusing that, nicotine, and in the past year, alcohol, like really badly. And it got so bad this year, and I tried to quit so many times. I tried to get help. You know, I put like this text, like this is a great example of the kind of support these guys offer as friends. Talking about starting a drinking problem and stopping it, and just trying to get better. And then everybody only has time to just like it. Like just thumbs up, not a single word of encouragement or anything. And just goes back to talking about video shit. And it's like, okay, cool, great support. And then we got Jesser over here immediately texting me after once he sees that for me to be in his sponsored video. Like I hadn't talked about these issues I've been having. And then he doesn't even acknowledge it.
At the end of this clip, he says, I haven't talked about these issues I've been having, which is true. At that point, we didn't know that he had a substance abuse problem. He was just like anybody else.
He keeps leaning in, which indicates honesty, and actually leans in further twice in this clip. So it does show strongly that he doesn't feel threatened by it. He's being honest. You know, if he was threatened by these allegations, if they were wrong, and he wasn't being honest, if he was lying, you wouldn't see someone leaning in, trying to get even closer to the person, the stressor. You'd see them trying to distance themselves, but he doesn't do that.
Frank, I did do it more than anyone else in the house, but it wasn't out of the ordinary because he had always done it more than anyone else in the house since the day he moved in. Now in the clip, he shows this message of him giving us a heads up that he was taking another week off. And he tries to say that we didn't show any support at all besides liking the text. Now, just for reference, this was the second time that he extended his break. And like I said earlier, it started June 14th when he told us he was going to take a week off to get like a mental break, take care of some personal administrative stuff, and try to get off nicotine and alcohol. And the next Sunday, June 21st, he said he needed one more week off, and he ended up coming back at the end of June when he made the flight video, and he was a part of a few of our personal channel videos. And as you can see from the date of the text, he tells us this Friday, July 3rd, that he's planning to take another week off. So this was the third week. He took 2 off in June, kind of came back at the end. He wasn't feeling it, so he decided to take another break, which is completely fine. And I'd already talked to him in person a few times about how
the subtle head nod there when he says it's completely fine indicates that he believes that it is completely fine. It was fine with him. He's being honest about that. It's not. This tells me that he wasn't against the idea, as Mopi may be making it out to be. He was actually supporting it, and he was being supportive. That's what his body language tells me. Whether that's the case or not, I don't know, because Mopi may have a different view about help and how nice this guy's being to him. They could have completely different views, but still believe those views.
Let him know that I was there for him if he needed help with anything during the first 2 breaks. At this time, I actually decided to take a break too because I'd had a rough month in June. I uploaded like 10 times, which doesn't sound like a lot, but you have to understand I'm in a group. So when I record, there's like 3 or 4 other people recording. So I was in about 40 to 50 videos that month, not counting the 2Hype videos, which are always more extensive. So I was feeling really burnt out, and I kept getting these like waves of sadness that I didn't know what to do about, but I just knew that I needed to take some time to myself and figure it out. And I'd like quickly check in with him when I would bump into him around the house, which was fairly often because we both lived upstairs. And I actually recorded his video for him when he played Flight at the end of June. And if you guys saw Flight's reaction to Tyler's video, he talks about that day and how they were kicking it after the recordings. And Tyler told him that he had been feeling like really sad lately. And then he just kind of like brushed it under the rug and moved on. Now, I was there too, since I recorded for him. And when Flight left, we started talking about it again. And I was telling him how I'd been feeling the same shit lately. That was June 28th. And he told me that he might take another break the next week. And I was like, yeah, I think I will too. So when he sent the message, yeah, I just liked it, but there was way more to it than that. And a few days after that, the first day of my week off, I was talking to him about like helping him get a credit card, because that's one of the things he wanted to accomplish during the break, is establishing credit. And we made plans to do it later that day, but he texted me and canceled. And then the other part of this text is him asking me to be in a video with Chris after he came back from the break. And we eventually recorded this video, but it never got posted, which happened many more times because he was wanting to switch up his content, but wasn't liking anything that he was making. So he didn't post until this video here on August 26th, where he refers to this himself.
Something else that I've been up to for the past like 2 months is I've actually been recording videos. I have like 9 or 10 videos just sitting that are not edited or anything. The reason I haven't done anything with them is because I haven't been the happiest with my content and I really want to step it up. And I felt like those videos were kind of failures.
During the time he wasn't uploading, he told me that he was having trouble with motivation.
I was kind of lacking some motivation. I was just kind of going through the motions and I wasn't the happiest with the content I was making.
And if you're a YouTuber, you can tell when another YouTuber is having trouble with motivation. So I would like try to do little shit to cheer him up, just to like make him feel better, or like try to like lift him up or like push him to get stuff done.
Being completely honest there, leaning in, maintaining eye contact, not doing any distancing behaviors really. He's being honest completely.
Lululemon sponsorship, which was one of his favorite brands, where the winner of the video would get a free outfit. So I just kept sandbagging when he was guarding me so that he would win and get the clothes. And here's an example of me putting in extra effort in his videos during this time and him thanking me for it. This video wasn't ever uploaded either, but it was like a nighttime escape room in the dark. We were having to use like flashlights, and I knew the footage was terrible because you couldn't see anything, but I tried my best to make it good for him and like encourage him. And I know those examples aren't anything super significant, but I was just trying anything to like cheer him up and like be more adamant about holding conversations with him.
So yeah, more leaning in, more maintaining eye contact, completely honest.
At least feel heard.
While I was not entirely open with how bad things were for me, they'll say like they didn't know and I just kept to myself. It's like if I said I was taking breaks and I wouldn't upload and I wouldn't be around for weeks and like months on end, and no one checked on me for like months and months. And like my living situation, my hallway was so bad. Just everybody walks by it and thinks nothing of it, like what's going on in my room and like what I'm doing to myself in my room. And it's like it got so bad with my hallway that it could be pitch black dark, and I memorized where to step to not step on shit and get to my room. Like, and I don't want to blame my living situation and how I was treating myself on them, but I'm not having it go out there that they were supportive of me or trying to help me. Like, it was just me.
Here he's talking about us not checking on him or helping him clean his room or his hallway. Ever since I knew him, his room was always like consistently messy. So I didn't take that as anything out of the ordinary. I thought it's just how he was.
So much stuff was in my room. I was low-key hoarding for like years.
Now his hallway did get bad. He started buying like hella props for videos, random shit, shopping a lot. And he ran out of space in his room. So he would just like kind of throw it in this hallway of his at the top of the stairs. And yeah, every time you go upstairs, you literally walk right by it. So we would see it all the time, but it wasn't like we thought nothing of it.
As you guys can see, I have a bunch of random stuff. This is stuff that's been bought over the years, impulsively, for videos, whatever it may be. Everything that I need to get out of my living space is in this storage unit. We got this unit, yeah. We got all this stuff. All these video stuff. But wait, oh! We got a second storage unit. Yeah, I wanted to show you guys, so I took out all the costumes and outfits. But yeah, this is what I'm working with for making the YouTube videos now. Before, all this stuff was either in my hallway, in my room, or just somewhere around the house, so I had to take it out.
Eventually it got to the point where it was embarrassing to even have guests over and have them go upstairs and see that. And I tried to help this dude clean up that hallway so many times, but he would always say like, oh, I don't have anywhere to put it, or just make up another excuse. My girlfriend even offered to help him because she was cleaning the whole house before she had a friend come stay back in like November of 2019. And he was like, oh, I'm gonna do it this weekend. And he never did. He finally does it like a month later, and she still acknowledged it and said she was proud of him. That's one of the only times it was clean, until he finally got this storage unit almost a year later. and just threw all the shit in it after Jeff had to damn near force him to clean it with him. Throughout the video, he tries to convey this narrative that nobody was there for him, nobody supported him. And I'm gonna be honest, Tyler, I wish I would have been there for you more and helped you out more. And I know I could have done more for you, but you can't honestly say that I didn't try. These messages.
I think that's a good place to wrap up this video. He's completely honest. Nothing about his body language indicates a liar, deception. He completely believes that he was there for his friend, and he regrets not being there even more for him, but he's being honest about everything he's saying. So if you take anything from this video, take that this guy is being honest, and he does care for his friend. What I can see from this drama, and I'm not going to comment on the drama about who's right or wrong, it does seem that they all believe completely different things, and they're all contradicting each other, but they do believe it. And I just say, you know, sit down and talk with each other, because you clearly have good intentions for each other. You just don't understand each other's point of view. That's what I can see from this. So, yeah. But if you enjoyed the video, please be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. And thank you for watching.